I mean, the big thing about fashion is if you're not relevant, you're not fashionable. And I think if you're not sustainable, you're not relevant.
British fashion designer Stella McCartney called on Sunday for laws to be placed on the fashion industry to help bring in environmentally friendly practices. Speaking at a showcase site of some fashion products backed by a $200 million sustainable investment fund she co-founded, McCartney said she was in COP28 to speak to policymakers to limit harmful impacts.
I'm here at COP28 to represent the world of fashion. It's one of the most harmful industries in the world to the planet, and I don't think enough people really know that. I'm the only fashion designer here, sadly. And then I'm also here to try and talk to policy makers and to try and have some kind of legal parameters in the world of fashion so that our industry, like all of the other industries here, actually have some kind of laws in place so that we can be more environmentally friendly.
The clothing and footwear industry is responsible for up to 10% of greenhouse gas emissions, more than shipping and international flights combined.
And I think the leaders in the business of fashion are literally getting away with it because they don't have any laws. So I think they don't really have to be here. They're not being called out. So I'm kind of calling out my own industry, but I'm doing it in a way where I'm trying to encourage and provide a solution. So there is a positive end to the story, I think.
At the showcase, faux leather and fur were on display, as well as coat made from recycled plastic sourced from oil-based clothing. You have got to give these people funding to replace bad business for good business, McCartney said, pointing to the faux leather brand Mirum as an example.
We have here a leather-free alternative called Mirum, which I'm investing in the fund because I think you've got to put your money where your mouth is and you've got to give these people funding to replace bad business for good business. But it's a completely plastic-free leather alternative. It's rubber-based, it's natural, and it's scalable.
When asked if alternatively sourced initiatives may instead increase CO2 emissions, as was the case in Danish toymaker Lego's efforts to ditch oil-based plastics, McCartney said morals factored into the equation as well.
You have to weigh things up. There's morals involved. I'm not in the industry of plastic. I'm in the industry of fashion, which is mostly the negative impact is animal agriculture. Over 1 billion animals are killed every year. It's cutting down over 17% of our rainforests, and it's using grain and land and energy and water inefficiently. Even if you can't afford what I do, which is probably the case, you can look at vintage fashion, you can basically resell, you can basically rent. And, you know, every single second, a truckload of fast fashion is buried or burnt. That equates to about $500 billion worth of waste, and there's business in that. And I think the next generation of consumers and business leaders can be looking like that's exciting. But I believe consumers are the key to everything. The youth are the ones that are affected.
In September, Lego abandoned its most high-profile effort to produce bricks made from recycled polyethylene terephthalate after discovering it would lead to higher carbon emissions.